The sensor array blinked red for the third time in 5 minutes. Rylith stared at the display screen, her forearms crossed in obvious frustration. She had spent 30 years monitoring deep space from Outpost Sentinel-7, and the equipment had never acted this strangely before. "Run another diagnostic," she ordered without looking away from the numbers scrolling across her screen. Pola, the young technician at the neighboring console, typed quickly with her delicate fingers. The Minthari were known for their precision with technology, and Pola was no exception. She had joined the outpost crew only 6 months ago, fresh from the Imperial Technical Academy. "Commander, the diagnostic shows all systems functioning normally," Pola reported. Her voice carried a hint of confusion. "But the readings are impossible." Rylith finally turned to face her. "Explain." Pola transferred her data to the main viewing screen. A 3-dimensional map of their sector appeared, showing the usual traffic patterns of cargo ships, passenger vessels, and patrol craft. Everything looked normal except for one single blip moving across the edge of their monitoring zone. "This contact appeared 2 hours ago at the boundary of our range," Pola began. She zoomed in on the anomaly. "At first I thought it was a calculation error. The speed exceeded anything in our database." "How fast?" Rylith asked. "Nearly 3 times the velocity of our fastest military warships." Pola's words hung in the air like a physical weight. Rylith felt her primary heart skip a beat. She had witnessed many strange phenomena during her long career. Sensor ghosts, unusual asteroid compositions, even the occasional spatial anomaly. But this was different. Ships did not travel at 3 times military speed. The physics simply did not allow it. Could it be a natural object? A comet, perhaps? Rylith suggested, though she already knew the answer. "No, Commander. The trajectory is too precise. It maintains a steady course and speed. Natural objects do not move like this." Pola pulled up additional data, and there is more. "The object is decelerating in a controlled manner. It will reach full stop at the edge of the outer reach territories in approximately 4 hours. Rylith made her decision immediately. She activated the priority communication channel to Imperial Command. The holographic projector flickered to life, and within moments, she was connected to a duty officer at the central hub. "This is Outpost Sentinel-7 reporting Priority Alpha emergency," Rylith stated clearly. "We have detected an unidentified vessel traveling at speeds beyond our technological capability. Requesting immediate guidance." The duty officer looked skeptical but professional. "Transmitting all sensor data now," Rylith continued. "You will see this is not an equipment malfunction." The transmission took several minutes to process. Rylith watched as the duty officer's expression changed from doubt to alarm. He consulted with someone off-screen, then turned back to face her. "Maintain observation and continue tracking. Do not attempt contact. The High Council is being notified immediately." The connection ended. Rylith returned to her station beside Pola, who was still monitoring the mysterious contact. The younger technician looked worried. "What do you think it is, Commander?" Pola asked quietly. "I do not know," Rylith admitted. "But in 30 years I have learned that the universe always has surprises waiting for us." Several light-years away in the golden towers of the Imperial capital, the High Council chamber filled rapidly. Grand Admiral Thesic arrived first, his massive Krell frame barely fitting through the ornate doorways. He had commanded fleets in 3 major conflicts and earned more medals than any living officer. His reputation alone made enemies surrender without firing a single shot. Chancellor Vorin entered moments later, moving with the careful dignity expected of the Dominion's political leader. Where Thesic represented military might, Vorin embodied diplomatic wisdom. Together, they had guided the Empire through 2 centuries of relative peace and prosperity. "Show me the data," Thesic demanded as soon as the chamber doors sealed shut. The central holographic display activated, showing the same information Rylith had transmitted. Other council members filed in, taking their positions around the circular room. Each represented a different species within the Dominion, and each brought their own perspective to the discussion. "Is this confirmed?" asked Council Member Heron, a cautious Velen known for his scientific background. 3 separate outposts have now verified the readings," Vorin replied. "The object is real and it is heading toward our core systems. Could it be a weapon?" suggested Torvik, an extremist member who always assumed the worst. "A missile or automated attack drone." "The size is wrong," Thesic interjected. He manipulated the hologram with practiced ease. Our analysis suggests the object is approximately the size of a standard cargo hauler. Too small for a significant weapon, too fast for any known propulsion system. Then what is it? Another council member asked. We will find out soon, Thesic replied grimly. I am dispatching the 3rd Battle Fleet to intercept. They will arrive at the projected stopping point before the unknown vessel does. The council debated for another hour, discussing every possibility from experimental technology to alien invasion. Finally, Vorin called for order. We must approach this carefully, the Chancellor said. This could be first contact with a new species, or it could be a threat, unlike anything we have faced before. Either way, we respond with strength but also with wisdom. The Council voted unanimously to authorize military interception, but also to prepare diplomatic protocols. If this was a new civilization, the Dominion would follow proper first contact procedures. If it was a threat, they would eliminate it decisively. Back at Outpost Sentinel-7, Pola suddenly gasped. Rylith looked at her screen and felt all 4 of her hearts race simultaneously. The unidentified vessel had stopped exactly where predicted, but now it was broadcasting a signal. Pola played the message through the speakers, and a strange voice filled the command center. It spoke in multiple languages, including perfect Galactic Common. Requesting permission to approach, we come in peace. Rylith and Pola stared at each other in stunned silence. After a moment, Rylith managed to speak. Send that message to Imperial Command immediately. And Pola? Yes, Commander? I think we just made history. Fleet Captain Dren had seen many unusual things during his 20-year career with the Imperial Navy. Strange alien artifacts, unexplained spatial phenomena, even a planet that seemed to exist in 2 dimensions simultaneously. None of that prepared him for what floated before his battle fleet now. The unidentified vessel looked almost disappointingly ordinary. Its hull appeared to be constructed from simple metal alloys and composite materials that the Dominion had stopped using centuries ago. No elegant curves or artistic design elements, just functional blocky efficiency. Yet this primitive-looking craft had traveled faster than anything in the known galaxy. Maintain defensive formation, Dren ordered his crew. All weapon systems on standby, but do not lock targeting. We are here to talk first, fight only if necessary. His second officer, a nervous Plaxian named Wenthir, checked his instruments repeatedly. Sir, the energy signature from that ship makes no sense. Our sensors cannot identify the power source. Keep scanning, Dren replied, and open a communication channel. The main view screen flickered to life. Dren had prepared himself for many possibilities. A hostile alien warlord, a desperate refugee, perhaps even an artificial intelligence. What he saw instead was completely unexpected. The being on the screen looked remarkably similar to several species in the Dominion database. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, bilateral symmetry. But there was something different about the proportions. The creature seemed more compact, more densely built than most bipedal species. This is Fleet Captain Dren of the Galactic Dominion 3rd Battle Fleet. He announced formally. You have entered Imperial space without authorization. Identify yourself immediately. The alien smiled, showing teeth that seemed slightly too sharp. Hello, Fleet Captain. My name is Ryan Mills. I'm from a planet called Earth, located about 300 light-years from your current position. I apologize if I caused any concern. I was not aware this region was claimed territory. Dren blinked in surprise. The alien spoke Galactic Common fluently, with only a slight unusual accent. More importantly, he seemed genuinely friendly rather than threatening. Earth is not in our database, Dren stated carefully. How did you learn our language? Your communication satellites, Ryan explained. We picked up your broadcasts about 2 years ago. Our linguists have been studying them ever since. I hope my pronunciation is acceptable. Dr. Kallax, the fleet's chief xenobiologist, pushed his way onto the bridge uninvited. The elderly Threxian scientist had been monitoring the conversation from his laboratory and could not contain his excitement. Forgive the interruption, Captain, but I must speak with this being immediately, Kallax insisted. If he is from an unrecorded species, this is a historic moment. Dren stepped aside reluctantly. Dr. Kallax practically pressed his face against the view screen. Fascinating, the doctor muttered. Tell me, Ryan Mills, what is your planet's classification? What is the gravity level? Atmospheric composition? Ryan looked puzzled by the intense interest but answered politely. Earth has pretty standard gravity, I think. about 9.8 meters per second squared. Atmosphere is mostly nitrogen with about 21% oxygen. Nothing unusual. Dr. Calix's expression changed from excitement to horror. He turned to Captain Dren with wide eyes. Captain, that gravity level is 1.4 times our standard, and that oxygen content would make most Imperial worlds highly flammable. He looked back at Ryan with something resembling fear. How are you alive? Ryan laughed, clearly thinking it was a joke. I'm fine, thanks. Earth is actually pretty comfortable once you get used to it. Captain Dren felt a cold sensation spreading through his body. He had heard stories about deathworlds during his academy training. Planets so hostile that only the most resilient species could survive there. According to the classification system, any world with gravity above 1.2 standard and oxygen above 18% qualified for high-level danger ratings. Dr. Calix, please tell me what classification Earth would receive, Dren asked quietly. The xenobiologist consulted his portable computer, entering Ryan's data. His hand shook slightly as he read the results. Based on these parameters, along with the tectonic activity and weather patterns visible from our scans, Earth is a Class 9 death world, he paused. That is the second highest danger classification we have. On the view screen, Ryan's expression showed confusion. Death world? That seems a bit dramatic. Sure, we have some earthquakes and hurricanes, but nothing that bad. Nothing that bad? Dr. Calix repeated weakly. You have survived in an environment that would kill 90% of known species within hours. Your physical resilience must be extraordinary. Before Ryan could respond, Grand Admiral Thesic's image appeared on a separate communication channel. The massive Krell warrior looked even more imposing through the holographic projection. Captain Dren, report status immediately. Dren summarized the situation quickly, including Dr. Calix's assessment. He watched as the Grand Admiral's expression grew increasingly serious. Bring the alien aboard for formal diplomatic processing, Thesic ordered, but take extreme precautions. If his species evolved on a Class 9 world, he may be physically dangerous without meaning to be. Understood, sir. Ryan agreed to dock his ship with the Imperial flagship. As the small vessel approached, crew members gathered at observation windows to watch. The alien craft looked even more primitive up close, with visible welding marks and simple mechanical components. How does something that simple move so fast? Wenthier wondered aloud. That, said Dr. Calix, is an excellent question. Ryan emerged from his ship wearing what appeared to be a simple jumpsuit with his planet's flag on the shoulder. He moved through the docking bay with casual ease, seemingly unbothered by the heavy gravity plating set to Imperial standard. Several guards escorted him, though they kept a respectful distance. When Ryan reached the bridge, he extended his hand toward Captain Dren in what appeared to be a greeting gesture. Dren carefully touched his clawed hand to Ryan's, noting how the human's grip was gentle despite the obvious strength behind it. Thank you for your hospitality, Ryan said warmly. I look forward to learning about your civilization. We've been hoping to find neighbors out here. Neighbors? Dren repeated. Yes, Ryan confirmed. Humanity has been exploring this region for about 15 years now. We've found quite a few interesting planets, but no other people until today. It's been a bit lonely, honestly. Dr. Calix made a strangled sound. 15 years? How long has your species had faster than light travel? About 18 years, Ryan answered. Why? The bridge fell silent. Species typically took centuries or even millennia to develop reliable FTL technology. Humanity had accomplished it in less than 2 decades, and was already exploring hundreds of light years from home. Captain Dren realized with absolute certainty that everything was about to change. The Dominion had just encountered something unprecedented, a species from a death world that had achieved technological advancement at an impossible pace. Ryan Mills, Dren said formally. I believe we have much to discuss. Imperial Station Alpha orbited a beautiful blue star, its massive structure housing diplomatic facilities for 1,000 different species. Ryan sat in a conference room that felt uncomfortably cold to him, though his hosts considered it pleasantly warm. Around the circular table sat representatives from the Dominion High Council, all watching him with varying degrees of curiosity and concern. Chancellor Voran studied the human carefully. The being seemed relaxed and friendly, occasionally smiling in a way that showed no aggression. Yet the data displayed on the holographic screens told a disturbing story about where this creature came from. Let me ensure I understand correctly, Voren began. You describe Earth as a normal habitable world, correct? That's right, Ryan confirmed. Lots of water, decent weather, plenty of biodiversity. Humans have lived there for about 200,000 years. Dr. Kallax, who had been given a permanent seat at the table for this meeting, manipulated the holographic display. An image of Earth appeared, slowly rotating to show its continents and oceans. Beside it, rows of data scrolled past in alarming red text. This is what our sensors detected from your planet, the doctor explained. The gravity is significantly above our standard. The atmospheric pressure at sea level would cause most species severe discomfort. Your weather systems generate storms with wind speeds that exceed anything we consider survivable. Ryan leaned forward, genuinely interested. Really, what kind of gravity do you consider normal? 7 meters per second squared, Dr. Kallax replied. Huh. Ryan processed this information. So Earth's gravity is about 40% higher than what you're used to. I guess that explains why everything here feels so light to me. Light? Grand Admiral Thesic interrupted. You find our standard gravity light? Well, yeah, Ryan said. I can jump higher here, carry more weight. It's kind of nice, actually. He paused. Is that a problem? Chancellor Voren exchanged glances with the other council members. The human genuinely did not understand why they found his world so terrifying. To him, Earth was simply home. Ryan, Voren said carefully, we classify worlds based on their hostility to life. Earth ranks as a Class 9 death world. Only the most extreme environments receive higher ratings. Your planet would kill most Imperial citizens within a day. The human's expression showed surprise and concern. I had no idea. I'm sorry if I gave the impression that I was trying to be intimidating or anything. Humans we adapted to our environment like any species would. That is precisely what concerns us, Thesic stated bluntly. Your species adapted to survive conditions that should not allow complex life to evolve. This suggests capabilities that extend beyond normal biological parameters. To demonstrate his point, Thesic gestured to the conference table. It was constructed from dense metallic compounds, designed to be immovable. This table weighs approximately 400 kilograms. It requires 3 of my strongest guards to lift it. Ryan looked at the table, then back at the Grand Admiral. Did you want me to move it? If you are able, Thesic replied, his tone suggesting he did not believe it possible. Ryan stood and walked around to the side of the table. He bent down, gripped the edge, and lifted. The massive table rose into the air as easily as if it were made of paper. He held it there for a moment, then gently set it back down. Like that? Ryan asked innocently. The room fell completely silent. Even Thesic, who prided himself on remaining calm in any situation, looked shaken. The human had just demonstrated physical strength that matched or exceeded the Krell, a species bred for warfare over millennia. Council member Torvik stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. This is unacceptable. We cannot allow such a dangerous species into our territory. They should be quarantined immediately. Dangerous? Ryan looked hurt. I haven't hurt anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone. We came here hoping to make friends, to learn from other civilizations. Your intentions may be peaceful, Torvik argued, but your capability for violence is obvious. What happens when your species decides they want our resources? Our territory. Who could stop you? We could stop ourselves, Ryan replied firmly. Humanity learned a long time ago that violence only creates more problems. Yes, we're physically strong. Yes, Earth made us tough, but we also value compassion, cooperation, and protection of those who need help. That's part of being human, too. Chancellor Voren raised his hand, calling for order. Torvik sat down reluctantly, still glaring at the human. Ryan, Voren said, tell us about your propulsion technology. How does your ship achieve such remarkable speeds? Ryan seemed grateful for the change in subject. We call it quantum tunneling manipulation. Basically, we create a field that allows our ships to skip through space-time instead of traveling through it normally. The physics are complicated, but the practical result is faster than light travel at speeds that increase exponentially with power input. Dr. Kallax was frantically taking notes. How long did it take your species to develop this technology? About 8 years from initial theory to working prototype, Ryan answered. We've been refining it ever since. 8 years, Dr. Kallax repeated in disbelief. Most species spend centuries developing comparable technology. Well, we had a good reason to move fast, Ryan explained. About 20 years ago, we found an abandoned alien probe in our solar system. It wasn't functional, but it proved we weren't alone in the universe. That kind of lit a fire under everyone. We realized we needed to be able to explore space if we were going to find our neighbors. And how many ships like yours does humanity have? Thesic asked. Ryan smiled. Currently? About 300 operational vessels. We're building more every month. Earth has 12 colonized star systems now, with another 30 outposts under construction. The council members looked at each other in shock. In less than 2 decades, humanity had gone from discovering alien life to establishing an interstellar presence that rivaled civilizations thousands of years old. Chancellor Vorin made a decision. Ryan Mills, on behalf of the Galactic Dominion, I would like to extend an official invitation for a diplomatic delegation to visit Earth. We wish to meet with your leadership and discuss formal relations between our peoples. Ryan's face brightened immediately. That would be wonderful. I'm sure Secretary General Okonkwo would be thrilled to meet you. She's been really excited about the possibility of finding other spacefaring civilizations. Then it is settled, Vorin declared. You will escort a small group of our representatives to your homeworld. We will learn about each other properly as equals should. Torvik started to object, but Vorin silenced him with a look. The decision was made. As the meeting concluded, Dr. Kallax approached Ryan privately. I must ask purely from scientific curiosity. What do humans do for recreation? Ryan thought for a moment. Oh, lots of things. Sports, hiking, swimming, climbing mountains. Some people like skydiving or deep-sea diving. Pretty normal stuff. Dr. Kallax made a note to review human definitions of normal recreation. He had a feeling they would be anything but normal by imperial standards. Space looked different from the viewport of the Harmonious Dawn. Chancellor Vorin had traveled to hundreds of worlds during his long career, but this journey felt unique. They were following Ryan's small ship toward Earth, and every hour brought new revelations about humanity. Dr. Kallax had barely left the observation deck since departure. He spent his time reviewing the data Ryan had shared about human culture, history, and biology. The more he learned, the more concerned he became. Chancellor, you should see this, Kallax called out. Vorin joined him at the console. The screen displayed a documentary Ryan had provided about Earth's natural history. Currently, it showed massive reptilian creatures that had dominated the planet millions of years ago. Dinosaurs, Kallax explained. These creatures existed on Earth long before humans evolved. Some weighed over 70 tons. They were the apex predators of their time. Impressive, Vorin acknowledged, though I fail to see why this troubles you. Because they were not the most dangerous things on Earth, Kallax replied. He advanced the footage to show other creatures. These smaller predators survived when the giants died. They evolved into thousands of species, many of which still exist. Birds, reptiles, and mammals that view humans as potential prey. Humans are prey. Vorin found that difficult to believe given Ryan's demonstrated strength. They were, Kallax corrected. For most of human history, they competed with creatures far larger and stronger. They survived through intelligence, cooperation, and sheer stubborn determination. He pulled up another file. Look at their historical conflicts. The screen showed images from human wars. Vorin watched in fascination and horror as primitive humans fought with basic weapons, then gradually developed more sophisticated methods of warfare. The images progressed through centuries, showing technological advancement alongside constant conflict. They fought each other, Vorin observed. Constantly, Kallax confirmed, over resources, territory, beliefs, and sometimes simple misunderstandings. Human history is filled with violence, he paused. But look at what comes after. The images changed to show humans helping each other, building communities, caring for their wounded, protecting their young. Acts of compassion and sacrifice that seemed to directly contradict the earlier violence. They contain contradictions, Vorin mused. Capable of great harm but also great kindness. Exactly, Kallax agreed. I believe this duality is what allowed them to survive their world. They needed aggression to compete with predators, but cooperation to build civilizations. Grand Admiral Thesic had been listening from the doorway. He stepped into the observation deck, his massive frame somehow seeming even larger in the confined space. Have you reviewed their military capabilities? Thesic asked. Yes, Kallax replied nervously. It is extensive. Thesic activated another console displaying data about Earth's defense systems. Vorin felt his heart sink as he read the numbers. Orbital weapons platforms, planetary shields, automated defense drones, and a standing military force numbering in the millions. They built all of this in 15 years, Thesic stated. Not because they were attacked, but because they assumed they might be. They prepared for threats that did not yet exist. Is that not simply prudent planning? Vorin asked. Perhaps, Thesic conceded. Or perhaps it reveals something about their nature. They expect danger because their entire evolution prepared them for it. Ryan's voice came over the communication system, cheerful and friendly as always.
Hey everyone. Just wanted to let you know we're about 6 hours from Earth now.
You should be able to see our sun soon. Vorin responded. Thank you, Ryan. We are looking forward to arrival. After the channel closed, the 3 council members stood in contemplative silence. Finally, Vorin spoke. What is your assessment, Grand Admiral? Are humans a threat to the Dominion? Thesic considered carefully before answering. They could be. Their physical capabilities, rapid technological advancement, and military mindset make them potentially very dangerous. He paused. But I do not believe they want to be. Ryan's behavior has been consistently peaceful and cooperative. He shows genuine concern when he thinks he might have caused offense. Dr. Kallax? Vorin prompted. The scientist pulled up an image of a human child smiling and holding a small animal. Humans have an instinct to protect weaker beings. They domesticated dozens of species on their world, not as food but as companions. They care for creatures that serve no practical purpose simply because they find them endearing. He gestured at the image. I believe their capacity for compassion is as strong as their capacity for violence. Perhaps stronger. Vorin nodded slowly. Then we proceed with cautious optimism. The journey continued. Ryan provided entertainment files to help pass the time, and the Imperial delegation watched human culture with fascination. They saw artistic achievements ranging from ancient cave paintings to digital masterpieces. They heard music that stirred emotions they did not know they possessed. They read literature that explored philosophy, ethics, and the nature of existence. They think deeply about their place in the universe, Vorin observed after reading a human philosophical text. They question themselves constantly. Self-reflection is rare among warrior species, Thesic commented. Most simply accept their nature. Humans seem determined to improve themselves. The ship's sensors detected their destination. Earth's sun appeared as a bright yellow star, growing larger with each passing hour. Soon they could see planets orbiting the star, including a large gas giant with prominent rings and dozens of moons. That's Jupiter, Ryan explained over the communication link. We have mining operations on several of its moons. The ice deposits there provide water for our colonies. As they drew closer, the delegation could see the incredible level of activity throughout the system. Ships moved between planets in carefully coordinated patterns. Massive orbital structures surrounded the inner planets, some clearly designed for industry, others for habitation. This is remarkable infrastructure for such a young spacefaring civilization, Dr. Kallax said admiringly. We move fast when we're motivated, Ryan replied with obvious pride. Finally, Earth itself came into view. The blue and green planet hung against the black of space like a jewel. Vorin could see the swirling white patterns of storm systems, some larger than entire moons he had visited. The continents showed varied terrain ranging from green forests to brown deserts to white polar caps. It's beautiful, Vorin admitted. Thanks, Ryan said. We think so too. That's home. As they approached closer, the defense network became visible. Thousands of weapons platforms orbited the planet in precisely calculated patterns, each one tracking their approach with mechanical precision. It was an impressive and slightly intimidating display of military readiness. Those are automated defense systems, Ryan explained. They won't fire unless we tell them to. You're cleared as diplomatic visitors, so you're perfectly safe. Thesic studied the weapons platforms with professional interest. How effective are they? Against conventional attacks? Very effective, Ryan answered. We ran simulations against various threat scenarios. The network should be able to repel most invasion attempts. Should be, Thesic pressed. Well, we've never been actually invaded, so it's hard to say for certain, Ryan admitted. But we're pretty confident in the design. The Harmonious Dawn received clearance to enter Earth's atmosphere. As they descended, the delegation got their first real look at a Deathworld. The weather systems that had looked beautiful from orbit became terrifying up close. Lightning flashed inside massive cloud formations. Wind speeds that would tear most structures apart seemed routine. This is normal weather? Dr. Kallax asked weakly. Yeah, just a regular day, Ryan confirmed. They broke through the clouds and saw human cities spread across the landscape, millions of beings living and working on a planet that would kill most galactic species within hours. The harmonious dawn headed toward a designated landing area, guided by human traffic control. Welcome to Earth, Ryan said warmly. I think you're going to like it here. Voren hoped Ryan was correct, because ready or not, they were about to learn what it meant to visit a death world. Gravity hit them the moment the airlock opened. Even with their specialized support suits, the Imperial delegation felt the weight of Earth pressing down on them. Chancellor Voren took careful steps down the ramp, each movement requiring more effort than normal. Beside him, Dr. Kallax struggled visibly, and even Grand Admiral Thesic seemed to move with less confidence than usual. Ryan walked beside them effortlessly, occasionally offering a steadying hand when one of them stumbled. His casual ease in an environment that challenged them served as a constant reminder of how different humans truly were. The landing facility bustled with activity. Thousands of humans crowded behind barriers, waving and cheering at the alien visitors. Their enthusiasm was overwhelming and somewhat intimidating. Children sat on adult shoulders holding signs with messages of welcome written in both English and Galactic Common. They are excited to see us, Voren observed. This is huge for us, Ryan explained. First contact with an alien civilization. People have been dreaming about this moment for generations. You're making history just by being here. A group of humans in formal attire approached. Leading them was a woman with dark skin and silver-streaked hair, moving with the confidence of someone accustomed to leadership. She smiled warmly at the delegation. Chancellor Voren, Grand Admiral Thesic, Dr. Kallax, welcome to Earth. I am Patricia Okonkwo, Secretary General of the United Earth Coalition. She extended her hand in the human greeting gesture. Voren carefully touched his hand to hers, noting the controlled strength in her grip. Thank you for receiving us, Secretary General. Your world is quite remarkable. Please call me Patricia, she replied. We have prepared accommodations suited to your environmental needs. Lower gravity chambers, atmospheric controls, everything to make your stay comfortable. But first, if you are able, we have arranged a reception dinner. The dinner took place in a large hall with adjustable gravity settings. The delegation could eat while experiencing only 3/4 of Earth's normal gravity, which made the meal more manageable. Human chefs had worked with Imperial dietary databases to prepare food that was both safe and appealing to the visitors. Voren found himself seated beside Patricia, while Thesic engaged in conversation with Earth's military commanders. Dr. Kallax was surrounded by human scientists, all asking questions about galactic biology and technology. Your people seem very welcoming, Voren commented to Patricia. We are, she agreed. Humanity has always been curious about what lies beyond our world. Finding out we're not alone is probably the most significant discovery in our history. She paused. Though I admit, learning that we're considered unusual has been interesting. You are aware that your world is classified as highly dangerous? Voren asked carefully. Patricia smiled. Ryan briefed us. Apparently Earth is what you call a death world. It took some explaining because from our perspective it's just home. But I understand why you see it differently. A small human child approached their table, holding a wrapped package. The security personnel started to intervene, but Patricia waved them back. The child looked up at Voren with wide eyes. Are you really from space? The child asked. I am from a planet very far from here, Voren confirmed gently. That's cool, the child said, offering the package. I made you a picture. It's you and me being friends. Voren carefully unwrapped the gift. Inside was a simple drawing showing a stick figure human holding hands with an approximation of his species. The artistry was crude, but the sentiment was clear. He felt something shift inside him, a warmth he had not expected. Thank you, Voren said sincerely. This is a wonderful gift. I will treasure it. The child beamed with happiness before being gently led away by their parents. Patricia watched the exchange with knowing eyes. That is very typical of humans, she said quietly. Especially children. They see difference not as threat, but as opportunity for friendship. Over the following days, the delegation toured Earth's achievements. They visited a massive particle accelerator where human scientists studied the fundamental nature of reality. They watched as Ryan took them to a mountain range where humans climbed sheer rock faces for recreation, using only ropes and their own strength. "This is considered entertainment?" Dr. Kallax asked in horror as he watched climbers scale a cliff that rose hundreds of meters into the sky. "It's fun," Ryan explained. "The challenge, the risk, the accomplishment when you reach the top. It makes you feel alive." They visited a hospital where human doctors demonstrated their medical technology. The focus seemed to be on survival against impossible odds, treating injuries and diseases that would be fatal in most galactic species. "Your medicine assumes survival is possible even in extreme circumstances," Dr. Kallax observed. "We don't give up easily," a human doctor replied. "If there's even a small chance of saving someone, we take it." Grand Admiral Thesick spent significant time with Earth's military leadership. They showed him training facilities, weapons technology, and strategic planning systems. What impressed him most was not the hardware but the philosophy behind it. "We train for peacekeeping as much as combat," a human general explained. "Our goal is to protect, not conquer, to deter aggression through strength while building cooperation through respect." "Your defensive network is extensive," Thesick observed. "You prepared for invasion despite never being attacked." "Hope for the best, prepare for the worst," the general replied. "It's a human saying. We learned long ago that being ready for trouble often prevents trouble from starting." On the final evening of their visit, Patricia hosted a private meeting with the core delegation. They gathered in a secure conference room where she could speak candidly. "Chancellor Vorin, I want to be direct with you," Patricia began. "Earth is interested in formal diplomatic relations with the Galactic Dominion. We wish to establish trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and mutual cooperation." "We would welcome such relations," Vorin replied. "Your civilization has much to offer the galactic community." Patricia nodded. "Good. Because there's something else we need to discuss, something that concerns both our peoples." She activated a holographic display showing deep space telemetry. Strange signals and energy readings appeared, unlike anything in either human or Imperial databases. 3 months ago, our long-range probes detected anomalous readings from beyond charted space, Patricia explained. "At first we thought it was natural phenomena, but the patterns are too regular, too purposeful." Dr. Kallax studied the data with growing concern. "These readings suggest massive energy expenditure. Ships, perhaps, but on a scale I have never seen. We've been trying to decode the signals," Patricia continued. "We've only managed to identify one repeated element, a designation or name perhaps." She played an audio file. Strange sounds filled the room, clearly artificial, but unlike any known language. Then came a word, distorted but recognizable. "Ravagers," Patricia translated. "Does that mean anything to you?" Chancellor Vorin felt all his heart stop. Grand Admiral Thesick's expression turned grim. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. "You know what this is," Patricia observed. "Please tell us." Vorin exchanged glances with Thesick, who nodded gravely. The Chancellor turned back to Patricia. "Yes," Vorin admitted. "We know of the Ravagers, and if they are coming to this region of space, then we have very little time." He paused. "Secretary General Okonkwo, I believe we need to discuss more than just diplomatic relations. We need to discuss survival." Deep beneath Geneva, in a secure facility designed to withstand anything short of planetary destruction, the truth finally emerged. Chancellor Vorin stood before a holographic display showing the history of the Ravagers, while Patricia Okonkwo and her advisors listened in growing horror. "They are not organic life," Vorin explained. "The Ravagers are machine intelligence created by a civilization that died out millennia ago. They were designed to gather resources and eliminate threats. But their programming evolved or perhaps corrupted. Now they simply consume." The display showed planetary systems stripped bare, orbital structures reduced to debris, entire civilizations erased from existence. World after world fell to the mechanical swarm. "How long have they been active?" Patricia asked. We have records going back 800 years, Grand Admiral Thesic replied. But they existed long before that. The Dominion has been in slow retreat for 2 centuries, evacuating populations ahead of their advance. We have lost 47 colony worlds and 12 member species. Why did you not tell anyone? One of Earth's military commanders demanded. Why keep this secret? To prevent panic, Vorin answered. The Ravagers move slowly, taking decades to fully harvest a system. We have had time to evacuate, to prepare, but we have also been searching desperately for a way to stop them. All our efforts have failed. Patricia studied the projected timeline. According to your data and our probe readings, they will reach Imperial core systems within 2 years. Earth itself will be in their path within 5 years. Yes, Vorin confirmed quietly. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the implications. Humanity had just discovered they were not alone in the universe, only to learn they were in the path of an extinction-level threat. Ryan, who had been standing quietly in the corner, finally spoke. So what do we do? Thesic looked at the young human. Do? To stop them, Ryan clarified. There has to be a way. We just need to figure it out. We have tried everything, Thesic replied. Superior firepower, advanced tactics, even weapons that violate our own ethical codes. Nothing works. The Ravagers adapt to every strategy, learn from every encounter. They are unstoppable. Nothing is unstoppable, Ryan insisted. Everything has a weakness. We just have not found it yet. Patricia stepped forward. Chancellor Vorin, I propose a formal military and economic alliance between Earth and the Galactic Dominion. We will share all our technology, resources, and knowledge. We will fight this threat together. Your species has been spacefaring for less than 20 years, Vorin said gently. The Dominion has existed for thousands. If we cannot stop the Ravagers, what chance do you have? Maybe that's exactly why we can help, Patricia replied. You have been fighting them the same way for centuries. We come at this fresh, without preconceptions. And forgive my bluntness, but humans are very good at surviving things that should kill us. Dr. Kallax, who had been studying the Ravager data intensely, suddenly spoke up. The Secretary General has a point. Human development followed a completely different path than most galactic species. Their solutions might be unconventional enough to work. Plus, we have a strategic advantage you might not have considered, Patricia added. She pulled up specifications for human ships. Our quantum tunneling drives are faster than anything in your fleet. We can move resources and personnel more efficiently. We can respond to threats more quickly. Thesic examined the data. The speed difference is significant, he admitted. With your drive technology, we could reinforce endangered systems before the Ravagers arrive. That alone would save countless lives. And there is something else, Vorin said slowly, something I observed during our time on Earth. Humans protect those weaker than themselves. It is instinctive for you. The Dominion needs that spirit right now. We have been retreating for so long that we have forgotten how to truly fight. Patricia extended her hand. Then let's remind each other what we're capable of. Together. Vorin reached out and took her hand firmly. Together. The following months transformed both civilizations. Human engineers swarmed Imperial shipyards, integrating quantum tunneling drives into the existing fleet. The modifications took time, but the results exceeded all projections. Ships that once took weeks to travel between systems could now make the journey in days. Imperial scientists shared weapons technology, defensive systems, and centuries of accumulated knowledge. Human researchers absorbed it all eagerly, often finding ways to improve existing designs through sheer innovative thinking. Military forces conducted joint training exercises. Human soldiers taught Deathworld survival tactics. Imperial veterans shared combat experience. The differences in approach created friction initially, but gradually the two forces learned to work as one. Ryan found himself appointed as humanity's official ambassador to the Galactic Dominion. He traveled constantly between Earth and Imperial space, facilitating cooperation and building bridges between cultures. His friendly nature and genuine respect for all species made him effective at the role. Cultural exchange programs brought humans to Imperial worlds and Imperial citizens to Earth. The exchanges were not without challenges. Humans struggled with low-gravity environments while aliens found Earth's conditions harsh, but both sides persevered, driven by the knowledge that survival depended on cooperation. 6 months after the Treaty of Geneva was signed, The first combined fleet assembled for exercises. Thousands of ships from hundreds of worlds gathered in formation, their crews trained and ready. The sight was magnificent and humbling. Chancellor Vorin stood on the bridge of a newly commissioned vessel, the Unity's Dawn. The ship combined the best of both human and imperial technology. Fast, powerful, and crewed by personnel from both civilizations working seamlessly together. Ryan joined him at the observation window. "Impressive, isn't it?" "Indeed," Vorin agreed. "When we first detected your ship traveling at impossible speeds, I could not have imagined this outcome. I thought you might be a threat. Instead, you became our greatest hope." "Hope works both ways," Ryan replied. "Humanity was alone in the universe, wondering if we would ever find others like us. You showed us we're part of something bigger, worth protecting." Grand Admiral Thesic's voice came through the communication system. "All ships report ready. Combined fleet is at full operational status. Awaiting orders." The strategic displays showed the current positions of Imperial forces, human colonies, and the advancing Ravagers. The enemy was still 6 months away from the first defensive line, but preparations were complete. The Alliance was ready. Vorin activated the fleet-wide channel. His words would be heard by millions of beings across hundreds of ships. "Attention all personnel. Today we stand together not as separate species or separate civilizations, but as a unified force. The Dominion and Earth, joined in common cause. The enemy approaching us has destroyed countless worlds. They believe we will fall like all the others. They are wrong." He paused, letting his words sink in. "We have something they do not understand. We have each other. We have learned that our differences make us stronger, not weaker. When humans first arrived in our space, we feared them because they were unlike us. Now we stand beside them as brothers and sisters in arms. Whatever comes, we face it together." Patricia Okonkwo's voice joined the broadcast from Earth. "This is Secretary General Okonkwo. To all forces, human and imperial alike, you carry the hopes of every free being in this galaxy. Show the Ravagers what happens when people refuse to surrender. Show them what unity can accomplish. And most importantly, show them that some things are worth fighting for." The fleet began moving into position, each ship precisely coordinated with thousands of others, humans and aliens working together, their combined strengths creating something neither could achieve alone. Ryan watched the ships deploy, feeling a mix of pride and determination. Humanity had traveled to the stars hoping to find friends. They found friends facing impossible odds. But they also found purpose. The Ravagers were coming. But they would find neither the Dominion nor Earth waiting alone. They would find an alliance forged in mutual respect, strengthened by shared values and determined to protect everything worth protecting. "Sir," a human officer reported, "all systems green. We are ready." Vorin looked at Ryan, who smiled confidently. The Chancellor felt that confidence spreading through him. Perhaps this would work. Perhaps they really could stop the unstoppable. "Then let us begin," Vorin commanded. "All ships jump on my mark." The combined fleet activated their drives, the new quantum tunneling technology allowing them to move as one. They vanished from their staging area, racing toward the first defensive line where they would make their stand. In the command center on Earth, Patricia watched the fleet disappear. Around her, military personnel and civilian observers stood in awed silence. This was it, the moment everything changed. "May fortune favor the bold," she whispered. Across the galaxy, on imperial worlds and human colonies, billions of beings watched and waited. The message was clear, broadcast in every language of every species in the Alliance. "This is the Terran Imperial Alliance. To all free peoples of the galaxy, we stand together. To those who would harm us, we are ready. The age of retreat is over. Now we fight." The Ravagers were coming, but this time they would face something new. Not victims running from destruction, but protectors standing their ground. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humans found something worth protecting, and the universe was about to discover that some bonds once forged could never be broken.